Hey, Nichole Huntsman here. All right, I am here to help you figure out what to buy for that person on your list this year. That's a tricky, tough one to find presents for. So what we're going to do, we are going to take a peek at this person, or maybe it's you, or maybe it's someone maybe it's your whole family. You want to sit down with a notepad and make a list here. Instead of looking at the person's sun sign, we're going to look at their moon sign. So for those of you who are new to astrology, if you're saying, what is a moon sign? Go to astro.com and go to their extended chart selection, and you can create a birth chart for yourself. You just need your birth date, of course, your birth time, and the city. So if you don't have the birth time, that's okay. You can go ahead and put your birth date in with a noon birth time. But because the moon changes signs every about 2.5 days, there's a good chance that your moon, it's possibly you were born on a day it changed signs. So birth certificate time, written time, those are always preferable, okay? Now, why are we going to use the moon? Why not use, I don't know, Mercury or someone's Venus maybe? Now, a couple of reasons. First of all, a person's moon, if you think about the moon as an object, as a celestial object, it's, of course, the closest to us here on Earth, meaning from our perspective, it's the quickest. And it does obviously make its rotation every about, lunar month for us, and so around the Earth. So it's quick, so that makes it more personal. That moment you were born, it's not just the date you were born, but it's the time and the location. It's kind of a little freeze frame of the fabric of space-time. It sort of freezes it right in that moment, and you walk into existence, and you become a conscious, well, babies are sort of unconscious, but you become a part of the fabric of existence. When you take that first breath, you separate from the mother. So moon, it is the part of us, I believe, that is developed while we are in the mother's womb. Once I think the brain has developed enough to sort of hear sounds, or perhaps to feel primary emotions. From mothers stressed while pregnant, I would imagine that things like adrenaline and cortisol that are in her blood stream might also cross over the placental barrier and enter the baby's bloodstream. So like the mother's sort of emotional state maybe may perhaps affect the baby's development, but then also when that baby is born, they're unconscious, right? So like the tabula rasa idea, I suppose. The world around them, they're learning every day new things, and they're learning when they have discomfort or pain, how does the world respond? And of course, our first primary caregiver tends to be the mother. So your moon is developed in a sense, you're born during a certain time. The moon you were born under, it's just the moon you were born under, right? It's like a clock. So your mother wasn't necessarily like an Aries, or literally an Aries if you have an Aries moon, but the way you perceived your emotional needs being met by this initial, caregiver, it's going to be seen through an Aryan lens. Okay, so that being said, the moon in a person's chart shows you how that person unconsciously, from a very deep rooted, psychologically rooted place as a human, how they experience existence. And the human experience, of course, is tied to emotion, right? We know that memories that we have that tend to stick with us longer are those when we have adrenaline, or we have a flood of adrenaline because it's a scary experience, and that imprints the memory on our brain. So point being, emotion is really powerful, and if you can find a gift for somebody that speaks to that part of that person, voila. All right, so that's my sort of preamble. Go to astro.com. You can pause this, go to astro.com. I'll put a link below. And then if you've got a Gemini moon that you're buying for, let's talk about what motivates a Gemini moon. So with Gemini, this archetype it's an air sign, and it's a mutable air sign. And if we think about the progression through the zodiac, after you've got to Taurus, you think of a human being, you get your body, and as a baby you learn how to use your body, how to manipulate your environment, how to eat, all that good stuff. And by the time you get to Gemini, it's when you're starting to learn language, and you're starting to understand perspectives that are other than your own. In a sense, it's like you have siblings. Maybe you realize you're not the only kid in the house. You've got an older brother or sister. So Gemini has this, there's an element of, the sibling thing, of sibling rivalry, of there being competition with these other entities that are competing for the parental attention. And so Gemini's not a jealous sign per se, but the way that it approaches this triangle, or sort of a square, I guess, but it's a mother-sibling triangle, is through being funny, clever, witty, creative. So Gemini moons, there's this interest in words, language, plays on words. There's kind of they like gifts, or sort of like geeky gifts. I've got a little list here, some things I was thinking of. My good friend, he's actually not a Gemini moon, he's a Gemini sun. But when I was in Ireland, I bought him a little souvenir, a little toilet, and it's for cigarette butts, and it says, put your butts here, or something like that. It's just stupid. And he thought it was hilarious. And there could be sort of even juvenile humor sometimes with Moon and Gemini. Not always, but definitely geek humor. They like gifts that you would find if you go to Target and you go like in their gift aisle section. They have this little area that has really neat novelty gifts. That's the kind of thing, like not stuff that you'd get like at the dollar store, not like cheapy stupid stuff you're going to throw away, but things that are kind of cool, and that's a conversation piece, right? So anything that's a pin or a patch or a sticker of some kind that they can sort of, if it's something that you know that they love. Things like cool posters. If they're into, I don't know, Star Wars, then maybe like a really cool collection of Star Wars posters, or just one really awesome Star Wars poster. Whatever their personal little hobbies are, whatever they enjoy talking about, help them do that more. And something also for their home, if you've ever been, there's a shop I went to in France, I forget the name of it, but they have these great little sort of like potato brush, or the thing that you're supposed to squeeze your soap out of, and they have like little people on them. They're just these quirky, whimsical, funny little characters. That type of thing, perfect for Gemini. Anything that's going to be something you could talk about, anything that might raise a question from another person who's visiting their house, perfect. Okay, they're the pranksters. Gemini moon. Gemini is of all the signs, they are always asking why. And it's a little different with moon, because the moon's not language necessarily. Gemini moons feel comfortable and safe when there are things to ask questions about. As soon as there's nothing to be curious about, they're out. So keep their mind peaked. Another thing you can do, anything that's to do with games. If they like word games, Sudoku, board games, whatever. All of that stuff, if you could find I love Trivial Pursuit. In my deep chart, that's what I call it, something I'll be introducing to you guys in about a month. My moon's in Gemini. And I love Trivial Pursuit. Love it. It's one of my favorite games because I like trivia. Moon and Geminis like little facts, little tidbits, little information, because it's the way we have learned to kind of cope with the world around us. We're wanting to understand why things are happening the way they're happening. Why am I feeling this? So another idea for Gemini moon would be if they enjoy bicycling, or if they're in their car a lot, if they are on the go, really busy, if they it's like a mom with a bunch of kids and she's always got the neighbor's kids and and she just go, and that's just how she is. Anything that will help organize her in that area, because Gemini can be a little ADD and a little all over the place. So if you've got some Virgo in your chart, or I don't know, Capricorn or Taurusiness, some earthiness in your chart, you maybe help them. If you notice in the morning that they're always late because fill in the blank, if it's something easily that you can easily solve, a problem you can solve for them in a way that makes sense to them, then solve it. Okay. Anything also that will help them with, if they've got like I don't know why, but for some reason, sort of backpacks, bags, their gear that they carry around with them, or the things that they like to keep, that they like to use, like their phone, their headphones, anything that's a communication device. If you know that they need a new pair of headphones and their old ones are getting frayed, but they love them, buy them a new pair. If they've got something they enjoy, in fact, Gemini moons are a little bit more about like, ooh, that was nice. Ooh, I want to try that. Ooh, I want to try that. They like variety too. So if anything, if you can get a pack of 3 of something and it's maybe just a tiny bit more expensive than one really nice thing, Gemini moon might be more excited about 3 things that are 3 different colors than the one more expensive fancy thing. Expensive things aren't usually Gemini moons. That's not impressive to them. Is it unique? Is it curious? Does it make me go, So there's books as well. Encyclopedias, if you've got a nerdy, it just sort of depends on your Gemini moon, but anything that will keep their curiosity piqued. I made a little note here as well. I think I had this idea about like a little gift bag, a little goodie bag, where if you have a theme for them, if you know, like they know if they like Star Wars, or if they like, I don't know, a particular movie or a particular band, fill that bag, get them some sort of a container, and just put all kinds of cool, novelty, fun little socks and mugs and whatever sort of things in that bag that have to do with their personal pet interest. They'll love that. That's fun. And the last little idea I had for them takes a little bit more planning, but postcards. If you could send postcards in the mail to your Gemini moon from different places, if you travel a lot, or if you have friends or family in other places, you could get them to do it for you. Maybe you could even do it as a scavenger hunt, or like little clues that come on postcards, but they're sort of clues that this Gemini moon has to figure out. And I know it's almost Christmas, but I don't know, you could still do it if you were clever enough. So I hope that was helpful for you. And of course, last but not least, for your friend, whatever their moon placement is, astrology reading is always a great way to help a person better understand themselves. And so I'm actually doing a little sale here to celebrate 2019 that's coming up. We've got a lot of big changes with Uranus, of course, ingressing back into Taurus. Kind of he popped his head in there this last year. He's kind of hanging out back in Aries right now. But he'll be back in Taurus, and he's not going to go back into Aries again. A lot of big changes this next year for people when it comes to the structure in their world that gives them a sense of security, job security, relationship security, financial security. Lots of themes that if the old way of doing things, that's changing when it comes to how you invest your money or how you buy a house. And my good friend was saying she thinks there's going to be a lot more barter and trade and jobs. The job market's going to be shifting, and we've got a global economy that we're all dealing with. Technology shifts and changes. So point being, this next year is a big year. And if you thought that 2018 was a little tricky, me personally, I don't even remember 2018. I'm like, wait, what? Hold on. I still feel like it's January, kind of a crazy year. 2019 has some unique challenges. It's got some beautiful pieces too. Every year there's no good nor bad. But I'd be happy to help you navigate those, like how personally it might show up in your life, as well as people that you love and care about. So I'm doing they're 40-minute forecasts. They're shorter, kind of mini forecasts, which frankly, it's more concentrated. So we'll do a look at your progress chart, and then we'll do a look at your solar return chart. I do it in 2 sections. It's a little video recording just like this, addressed to you, and it's uploaded onto a private or an unlisted YouTube playlist for you to watch. So it's and then you can ask me questions if you have any. Let me know if you're interested, and the way you do that, you go to my website, and on the website you can see the calendar, the schedule. You can pick the time. The time is not exact necessarily. It's just because I can only take so many people per day. So at the end of the day, you get your link and you get your video that you can watch. You can pay for it there on the website. You pay for it. You do it all. It's very easy. And I take credit cards, debit cards, all that normal good stuff, PayPal, etc. It's very easy, and hopefully it's something where we can do a little work together. It can make your upcoming year be something that you're prepared for the weather. You got your umbrella or your boots or your tank top, what have you. Okay, hope you all have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Festivus. If you don't celebrate, whatever it is, stay safe, and thank you so much for all of your support on my channel. And this has been a real wild ride. Okay, take care. All right, bye-bye.